Early morning live stream going, my friends. I mean, yes, like I said yesterday, family's in town, so figured go through stream in the morning. That way I could spend time with them later in the day. But I promise you, we'll get back to our usual late night live streams very soon. Let's go ahead. Let's hop into the Puppy 2 draft here. I do want to point out, it's been open for what, 9 days? Maybe 10? And there have been 155,000 entrants. Absolutely crazy. Let's hop in. Jay says he was already in a draft this morning. Do not blame you, my man. Do not blame you. I mean, I've had one hell of a night / morning. I went to bed last night, and yes, y'all can make fun of me for this, but I sleep with one of those like sleep masks that go over your eyes. I need it complete black. And put it on my face, then immediately felt a million things crawling all over me. Threw it off as fast as I could, looked at it, and it was infested with ants. Apparently, ants somehow got in the house. They went for, I guess they liked the sweat in the mask or something. And there were like thousands of ants on the bed crawling up. It was horrible. It was horrible. So we woke up early this morning, hopefully took care of the ant issue. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, thank you so much for coming out. We have Cooper here, Nick, Smelly at the 101, Brandon in here at 6. Elda says, finally in a draft with you guys. I don't know. Oh, you're at 9. Okay, you're right next to us. Right next to us. And then Gabriel in at 10 for the first time. NFL Blitz at 11. Okay, so this is going to be a tough room to be drafting in. Every single person is out here. Gallo says, I'd burn the whole house down. It was tough. So hopefully we got rid of the ants. I mean, they were all just right there, but we'll see. We'll see. But Sir Fozzie says, you better do a second draft so I can get in with you. My man, if we get 350 likes on this bad boy, we'll fire up another draft. And of course, if not, we are streaming every single day these Underdog Fantasy Football drafts. So I know you already are, but just in case someone's watching this as a video later on, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You hit the bell next to the subscribe button. And of course, if you want to get in a draft with us, we're doing these every single day. This is the Puppy 2. It's a $5 buy-in. It's a $1 million prize pool. $150,000 for first place, $75,000 for second place, $50,000 for third place. We drafted over 700 teams last year on Underdog. Best ball, no time commitment at all during this season. We won $150,000 in Underdog drafts last year. So you better believe we are ready to fire up as many as we can. When you sign up with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. And you're going to get my 2023 fantasy football rankings in a free trial to flockfantasy.com. So looking at this draft room where you see Christian McCaffrey fall all the way down to 7, you have to go ahead. You have to slam a wide receiver here, right? I mean, if we see Brown, Diggs, Kupp, Tyreek all ahead of Christian McCaffrey, kind of get a sense of this room on how a running back versus wide receiver is going to be valued overall. I mean, y'all were in the draft with us, I believe, 2 days ago, where we went through and we started out, I want to say Austin Eckler, Jonathan Taylor, then Breece Hall, something like that. And it is impossible to find enough wide receiver value in the middle rounds to make it work. So we're not going to make the same mistake. We'll go ahead. We'll just get our anchor wide receiver as we always discuss. We will grab CeeDee Lamb here at pick 8. You have Barkley, Eckler, Bijan going here at the end of the first. Interesting to see Barkley go at 12. I mean, personally, I think Barkley, Taylor, Eckler, Bijan are all in the same tier, so I'm not going to fault anybody for taking Barkley here. But you see Barkley in these Underdog drafts a lot fall to the late second round. I mean, very rarely are you seeing him go as early as he does here at pick 12. Okay, so let's swing this around. Yeah, Chubb's risen up ADP quite a bit. Devonta Smith has also risen up in ADP as well. Adams goes 15. I would have been super excited about getting Devontae Adams and CeeDee Lamb paired up together. It is what it is. We're not going to sit here and cry about missing out on that. Jay says Derrick Henry fell to 31 in his last draft. Ooh. Okay, Jonathan Taylor goes. So if someone other than Taylor went, Taylor is who I take at the 205. I will still take Jalen Waddle, however, ahead of Nick Chubb, specifically because some things can happen, like Derrick Henry falling to pick 31. I mean, hell, there's a small chance that somehow, some way, we're actually able to get Derrick Henry on the way back around So yeah, we're going to take Waddle over Nick Chubb. You see Olave, Devonta Smith here go over Nick Chubb as well. So this team at 6 and Brandon has the combination of A.J. Brown as well as Smith. So you can assume that they're going to be sending up a prayer that they get Jalen Hurts on the way back around at pick 30 to get that double stack. Okay, Adrian says, I've seen Bijan falling to start of the second round. If Bijan Robinson's going there, hell yeah, I'm going to take him. Like I said, when we made that Bijan Robinson video and why I've had literally 0% Bijan Robinson in these drafts is he usually used to go picks 5, 6, 7. Now you're seeing him go in the same line as Eckler, and you're seeing him go behind Eckler in most drafts, a little closer to Barkley and Taylor. So as he gets closer to Barkley and Taylor, I will definitely draft Bijan Robinson. I mean, I have him ranked as the running back 3 this year, only behind Eckler and CMC. It's more so about how those tiers break down. But Calvin Ridley off the board here at 22. These are the players you're seeing Calvin Ridley get drafted ahead of. Mahomes, Derrick Henry, Pollard, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Josh Jacobs. So we made the video yesterday going in depth talking about Calvin Ridley, where essentially, I mean, we can never find an example of a player that looks like Calvin Ridley and that you go from being at the very top of the game to then doing really nothing for a 2-year period and then coming back to be the very top of the game. Like the closest thing we can find, and honestly, it kind of is reminiscent of it, but obviously he's much better than Calvin Ridley, would be Randy Moss going to Oakland and then going to New England. Historically speaking, that was the closest thing we could find to, I mean, if Calvin Ridley were to come back and be a top 3 to 5 wide receiver this next season. But I don't know. Mr. Padilla, happy to see you out here. My friend, happy to see you out here. Okay. So Andrews goes 27. So this team at 6 is a real shot at getting Jalen Hurts. Yeah, Prod takes Josh Allen to pair up with Stephon Diggs, T. Higgins. So that team with A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith only has to dodge one more pick here to get Jalen Hurts. But nope, Jalen Hurts is sniped to pick 29. To be honest with you, if Jalen Hurts would have fallen that far to me, I would have taken Jalen Hurts. So, I mean, I don't think Brandon here can be too mad. Of course, I mean, you're a little upset to say the least. Okay, but let's swing this around. Metcalf goes, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Breece Hall. That's not really going to be up to debate for me. I mean, with Hall, I would rather have the combination of like Breece Hall and CeeDee Lamb than the combination of Bijan Robinson and Deebo Samuel. And 100%, maybe I'm wrong in that. And I understand a lot of people are saying, well, you can't draft Breece Hall because he's coming off a torn ACL, blah, 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 blah. If Breece Hall was not coming off a torn ACL, Breece Hall would be going at the 1-2 turn. So I agree with you. I think that you 100% with these players coming off torn ACLs, you have to put a significant discount on them, which I think Breece Hall is seeing. Okay. But anyway, Robert coming out with a donation. Thank you so much, my man, for hanging out with us and stopping by this early on. Andrew says he sniped Hurts there. Yeah. I mean, can't blame you at all, right? If you're seeing a Jalen Hurts at 29, I mean, I've been taking Jalen Hurts a lot of like pick 24, 25, 26. Ross says he likes the 7 picks so far. Yeah, I will say, I mean, y'all know I haven't drafted Christian McCaffrey too much because generally CMC goes ahead of one of Tyreek Hill or Cooper Kupp. He always goes ahead of Stephon Diggs, A.J. Brown. So generally, I'm not drafting CMC that often. But if you were to fall to me at pick 7, I think you go ahead and you draft Christian McCaffrey. And if you take CMC in round 1, I think it's pretty strong value you're getting with wide receivers rounds 2 and 3 if you just have to go that way, right? Okay. Now, McLaurin goes 37 to get a little bit of a unique build here. Now, House of Orange may not necessarily think Terry McLaurin's the best wide receiver on the board. Hell, maybe they do. But at the end of the day, if Terry McLaurin exclusively goes to the 4-5 turn and they take him here at the 3-4 turn, there are going to be very few teams that have this combo of players out the gate. Should be a unique build in general. So Lamar goes. Keenan Allen off the board, 39. L-Dog has Taylor, Amari, Kelsey. They go Drake London. We're going to do it. I mean, I'm a man of my word. I say if Travis Etienne falls to round 4, I take Travis Etienne. is an ascending running back in a phenomenal offense. Yes, he will not see a Derrick Henry level workload. Yes, he will not see a prime Ezekiel Elliott level workload. Yes, he will not see a prime Dalvin Cook level workload. But that's not really what you have to see here if you want to have a profitable selection of Travis Etienne. If Etienne can come out and see 70% of the work in his backfield, then hell, I'm extremely happy with this pick at 41. Even if he sees 65%, if he can increase his overall involvement in the receiving game, similar to what he had in college, and on top of this, we get continued improvement from the Jacksonville Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence, I am completely fine taking Travis Etienne here. Okay. Dax says, well, I see $5 ain't nothing for these guys because they couldn't pick worse. My friend, got great news for you. We are drafting every single day on this live stream. Right now it's $5 drafts, but as we get closer to the season, we will be hopping into the $250 drafts on Underdog. We'll be hopping into the $500 drafts on Underdog. Hell, I won $100,000 in the $250 tournament on Underdog Fantasy. So if your mind is that these people in this draft have no idea what they are doing, you are more than welcome to come in and prove that you are better. You are more than welcome to come put your money where your mouth is, my friend. But Lawrence goes 51. So interesting to see a couple of these teams at the very top. Yeah, going ahead and taking the hero wide receiver build. Up next, Sports Card says, man, love your shorts. They help a lot. Okay, here, let me ask you all this real quick. Do the people who watch this live stream actually watch those shorts? I assume that it's like two completely different audiences. If you watch this live stream, let me know what you think about us taking time to put out shorts. Does it matter? Do you like them? Should we focus in on doing this more? Okay, yes, I do. Yes, 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 no. I watch both. Okay, so it looks like most people watch the shorts. A couple things here. Okay. One, I'm actually probably going to reach on Michael Pittman over Chris Godwin. And two, I put significantly more effort into the videos and the live streams than I do the shorts. The shorts, you are not going to find any crazy analysis there. It's 60 seconds, not a great format for me to be able to go through and put great content out there. So one, I apologize if you think that every once in a while they're lazy. I'll try to do better. I didn't realize how many of y'all are watching them. Two, please let me know if anybody watching this found us from a YouTube short. Let me know if anybody found us from a YouTube short, because that would be very interesting. Okay, Lockett goes 62. Let's swing this back around. Elijah says shorts are for the less dedicated fan. Yeah, so, I mean, in general, I kind of view it as like the people in the live stream, right? I mean, y'all are the people I hang out with every single day. You know, like this is the number one thing that I care about. Also, the videos, in my mind, that's going to be probably the second most helpful thing outside of me doing these live streams for y'all every single day. I think the videos are incredibly helpful. The shorts are just like, hey, let's get my face out there, if that makes sense. Okay. No Limit says, yes, I found you from a short. Oh, okay. Interesting. Steven says, I think I watched a short or two, then it recommended your live. Okay. Very interesting. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, Damian Pierce off the board. We're going to go ahead. We will take Hollywood Brown here. I mean, just simply stated, wide receivers are going to get very gross in round 8. I want to make sure that we have the ability to go through and take running backs in the coming rounds. So getting Michael Pittman, Hollywood Brown, two wide receivers that, yeah, are probably going to be in bad offenses, but at the same time, you could see them just dominating market share numbers because there aren't really too many other players to take targets away from them. I mean, I'm going to be completely fine taking these two guys here. Now, at the same time, if I were to go in an opposite direction, I am completely fine if you wanted to take Alexander Madison, right? I mean, if you weren't drafting on Underdog and you didn't have to start 3 wide receivers and it wasn't best ball, I probably would go Alexander Madison over both Michael Pittman and Hollywood Brown. But at the same time, this is kind of my favorite overall roster construction that we have on Underdog Fantasy. I really like the value that we are getting there with Breece Hall and Travis Etienne at running back, and then slamming wide receivers in the early rounds, because I specifically know that we are going to get great running back value a little later on here. That's what I'm assuming. Okay, so let's move this down. And DeAndre Swift. Kyle Pitts makes it to 72. I mean, I would be very excited about Kyle Pitts making it that far. So Albright decides to pass on Goddard in favor of Treylon Burks. I'm assuming we see Dallas Goedert go off the board here at pick 77 to the team that has Jalen Hurts. It could be wrong. Y'all know me. I mean, I would have made the massive mistake of here with this team that took Kyle Pitts pick 72. I probably would have gone Kyle Pitts, Dallas Goedert, but I probably would have ruined the team that way as well. Okay, so Prod on the clock. So Prod gets sniped of Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis goes one pick before. Prod could have set up the double stack with Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, and Josh Allen. Prod goes Dallas Goedert, sniping from Albright, who took Jalen Hurts here. In my mind, if I was Albright, I probably would have just reached on Dallas Goedert in round 6 and then had and possibly take Jahan Dotson on the way back around instead. Fantasy Pick says, tight end at the turn. Classic Mason mistake. Yep, classic Mason. I couldn't have said it better myself. Dotson goes off the board 78. Oh, my God. I think we may take Brandon Cooks here and set ourselves up with the Dallas double stack. We're going to try it, right? I haven't drafted much Brandon Cooks. We're going to try this out. It's a $5 draft. In my mind, these $5 drafts I kind of treat as mock drafts to get us ready for those $250 leagues where we really want to make sure when we're closer to the season that there's nobody out there that's drafting better than us. Brandon Cooks, we have in 5% of drafts, so we are a little underweight on Brandon Cooks at this point. I think if you're looking at Isaiah Pacheco, he is a great pick here. If Dalvin, if Fournette, if Hunt, if Zeke does not go over to Kansas City. Now, at the same time, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. If those guys don't go over, I will then at that point probably be willing to reach on Isaiah Pacheco at the 6-7 turn once we have the clarity. But P. Riv says your opinion on Trey Lance. His ADP is like 190. I think for where Trey Lance goes in these drafts, Trey Lance has a higher ceiling than anybody else in that range. I think if Trey Lance somehow, some way is actually the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers this next season, I think given his rushing upside, Trey Lance could be a top 5 quarterback in fantasy football. Of course, not in real life football. I don't necessarily think that Trey Lance is going to be some great real life option, but from a fantasy football perspective, I think he could be a top 5 guy. Just given the rushing upside. And then also, I mean, if you're looking historically, those quarterbacks are given every opportunity to succeed when they're drafted inside the top 3. Like literally the quarterback that has started the fewest amount of games since the year 2000 being drafted inside the top 3 was the biggest bust in NFL history in Jamarcus Russell. And the man started almost 30 games. Trey Lance has started like 3 or 4. Trey Lance will start this next season. I'm very confident in that. Now, I don't know where he is going to start. I think that there's an outside chance that he is traded, but I think that Lance will be productive if you're getting him in the last round of the second to last round, almost no matter what, given the fact that he has so much rushing upside from a fantasy football perspective. Okay. So let's show this off. We have Lamb, Waddle, Pittman, Hollywood, Brandon Cooks at wide receiver. Running back, we have Hall, Etienne, James Conner. So setting ourselves up with a couple different options, right? Clearly, we have the Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks double stack that we can get on the way back around at 104. We're also making the bet here on the Arizona Cardinals offense with the combination of Hollywood Brown as well as James Conner. So maybe you want to go through and maybe we want to take Kyler Murray at the very end as well. And maybe we can make the bet that somehow Kyler Murray comes back a little earlier than expected and it provides value on all these guys if the Arizona Cardinals exceed expectations. And I want to be clear right now, the Cardinals' expectations are laughably low. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Hell, Kyler may miss the entire season. right? If you're looking at Las Vegas win totals, right now Vegas sportsbooks are telling us that the Arizona Cardinals will be the worst team in the NFL this next season. I think they know more than we do, and I think it's likely that Arizona is really bad and that Kyler misses a lot of time. But at the same time, this is a $5 buy-in. This is $150,000 for first place. So if there is a 20% chance that the Arizona Cardinals are actually decent this next season, then hell, if we can capture that, I'll like it. Okay. So let's move this down. And of course, if you want to get in our next draft, we get 350 likes on this live stream. We'll fire up another one. And we do this every single day. If you want to get in a draft with us on the live stream, go to Underdog, use promo code FLOCK, link in the live chat, link in the description. They'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. You'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings at a free trial to flockfantasy.com. Okay, so Juju goes here, pick 100. Swing this around. Couple different options of what we could be looking at. I think we've set ourselves up in a pretty good spot with how balanced we are in this draft. I really like the options that we have at this point. I think taking Brandon Cooks there actually, even though I'm not the biggest Brandon Cooks fan, if Brandon Cooks can be a top 24 wide receiver, I think it was the right call. Frymuth goes 102. I think this is Cersei. I don't know if this is Cersei as in Game of Thrones or I'm an idiot and can't read. Okay, so what are they doing? They go Dak, so that's sad. We're not going to get the double stack with the Dallas Cowboys, but we did take Michael Pittman, so we're able to grab Anthony Richardson here and have that rushing upside, similar to what we were talking about with Trey Lance, and get Anthony Richardson stacked up with Michael Pittman. I mean, Anthony Richardson going later than he was a couple weeks ago. I mean, people were taking Richardson like round 7 a couple weeks ago. So, I mean, I'm going to be fine taking here pick 104. Obviously, Dak Prescott would have been ideal when we had the combination of both CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks, but we have Michael Pittman. I think it's a fine pick. Drew says, imagine being able to read. Couldn't be me. Couldn't have said it better myself, my friend. Could not have said it better myself. Okay. Let's move this down. Okay. Brian Robinson, 105. Drew says, the funny thing is, it's entirely possible that it's better to have Richardson anyway. 100%. I think that's the case. I mean, hell, Anthony Richardson has a higher ADP than Dak Prescott right now. So I really don't understand why that team would go Dak in the first place. I mean, they don't have any Cowboys unless they really want to target Gallup and Ferguson a little later on. I feel like Richardson makes more sense if you don't have a Cowboy, right? Because when you're drafting Dak Prescott, you're essentially making the bet that Dak is going to be at the very top of the NFL in passing yards and passing touchdowns. When you're drafting Anthony Richardson, you're kind of making a bet that he's going to possibly be top 3 in the NFL in rushing production. So with Richardson, you don't even really need an Indianapolis Colts on your team. I mean, Indianapolis Colt on your team to draft him. But I feel like Dak, I probably don't want to take Dak Prescott in too many of these drafts unstacked, unless if you were to fall to us at a crazy value, right? If you were to fall to us at a crazy value, sure, I'm taking him. Okay. Let's see. NFL blitz on the clock is Eckler, Pacheco, running back, receiver, a ton of guys. Goes Allen Lazard, 110. I actually was kind of considering Lazard here. Pair him up with Breece Hall and then possibly get Rodgers on the way back around. Smelly says, thoughts on team 1? I'll dive into that for you in just 1 second, my friend. P. Ryan goes 111. Cousins not in play for us. I mean, there's no reason for us to draft Cousins. Like Osborne doesn't do much for us. We don't have Jefferson. We don't have Addison. We don't have Hawkinson. We don't have Madison. Geno Smith, there's not really a reason to draft even if I really like this price tag on Geno. So move down. We'll go ahead and we'll take Damian Harris here. Maybe Damian Harris has a couple touchdowns in that Buffalo offense this next season. I mean, I will be confident in saying that I think at this point, if you were to look at a couple offenses and if these backfields did not add in another running back, they would be phenomenal values, right? Like, if we were for sure that the Kansas City Chiefs were not adding in another running back this next season, hard to beat Isaiah Pacheco, pick 83, and I would even say Jerick McKinnon's a fine pick at that price point. If the Buffalo Bills were not to add in another running back this next season, I would say that when you're looking at James Cook, 98, Damian Harris, 113, both running backs probably represent phenomenal values. I would say the same thing with the Miami backs even. But I'm not drafting the Miami backs, and it's not like I'm all in on the Buffalo backs. It's not like I'm all in on the Kansas City Chiefs backs. And the reason for this is Hunt is still out there. Leonard Fournette is still out there. Ezekiel Elliott is still out there. Dalvin Cook is still out there. You kind of need to be a little bit worried. Not that one of those running backs will go to KC, right, or go to Buffalo and immediately be the starting guy seeing a workhorse level workload. No, we're not expecting Kareem Hunt to go to Buffalo and all of a sudden to be a running back one in fantasy seeing 70% of the snaps. No, but what is realistic is, maybe Ezekiel Elliott goes to Buffalo and Zeke gets the goal line role. Even if he's only seeing 30% of the touches in that backfield, maybe it's like a late career Adrian Peterson in New Orleans, right? Where you're not necessarily sitting here saying, okay, well, he is all of a sudden a league winner. He's taking over. But at the same time, you could say, okay, well, he's going to take enough from the other running backs there that it's definitely not a good thing. Okay, Gallup goes off the board at 125. Gallup would not have been in play for us, considering the fact that we have Lamb, Cooks, and no Dak Prescott. Wouldn't have made a lot of sense to take Gallup there. Elijah Mitchell off the board. Elijah Mitchell definitely would have been a selection from us. What's the blurb on Devon Achane? There's none. He goes. So at this point, if we're sitting here, right? G-Money's not going to take another tight end. They have Waller and Njoku. There's a shot that we get there. We're probably getting one of these tight ends on the way back around. I think we can take Rodgers and say, well, okay, we get him 10 picks past ADP. We have Breece Hall. We know Breece Hall can have, an immense amount of targets out of the backfield. At least he did at the very beginning of the season. So we will go ahead and take Rodgers here at 128. I'm not too excited about it, right? But at the end of the day, does Jamal Williams win us this league? Probably not. So we'll go Aaron Rodgers as our QB2. I think we're fine with only two quarterbacks here if we have Richardson and Rodgers. But at the same time, I think we're fine if another one falls to us at an incredible value to go ahead and take three QBs. Now, the reason I'd be hesitant in taking three quarterbacks, to be completely honest with you, is the reason that we are going to have to take three tight ends. Once we've waited at minimum to the 12th round to grab our first tight end off the board, we're most likely not going to be able to get away with only drafting two. So for that reason, I'd be hesitant in drafting a third quarterback because in my mind, in a lot of these drafts, I want to be coming away with a total of 5 quarterbacks / tight end, right? 4 we can do if we take these guys early. 6 we can do if we wait until the very, very end. But I don't know. I feel like 5 is the sweet spot. If you're looking at what was winning leagues last year, it was 4, but I think a lot of that had to do with where the league winners came from last year. Nico Collins off the board, 135. I just don't know what to do here. Russ goes 136. What wide receivers will be available to us on the way back around? Okay, I have an idea. We're going to take Romeo Doubs here, 137. Maybe you could have made the argument for us to reach on one of these tight ends that we like in this range. But I think there's a chance that we can make this pick make sense in the coming rounds. We'll see. Mr. Padilla says, I have quite a few teams with 3 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends. Whenever I'm in those high-stakes drafts, you'll see that I'll probably end up taking 3 quarterbacks, 3 tight ends, and a decent amount of those. Like the big dog where it's the $250 buy-in. The issue is when you're in the puppy drafts, right? Where instead it's a $5 buy-in, 225,000 entrants, $150,000 first place prize, $1 million prize pool. You have to have such a wild amount of upside for you to actually take this thing down. I can win a high stakes tournament, not necessarily shooting for the absolute moon, right? But here, it's difficult in my mind to allocate 6 of those roster spots for quarterback and tight end, considering the structure of this tournament. But real quick, I know we've had a lot of people reaching out to us on Discord asking us about this. Let me show y'all real quick and talk about it real quick. I will make a video for y'all soon. Before we even make the video, I want to make sure you are not running and taking the more thans on these lines. Well, yes, if Justin Fields remains healthy the entire season, he'll most likely have 3,000 passing yards, right? But at the same time, if he misses 3 to 4 weeks, it's going to be much harder to hit that mark. So when you're looking at all these player props on Underdog, make sure you are very, 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 very hesitant to take the higher than. Whenever I look at these, I'm going to be going through and taking the lower, because if anything goes wrong, hell, it could benefit you, where if they're going to hit the higher than, almost everything has to go right for it to happen. So before we even get to that, I just want to make sure that we are on the same page there. So our thought process whenever we went through and took Romeo Doubs is I thought we could get Jaden Reed on the way back around, which clearly does not happen. So instead, we'll pivot over and maybe we'll go with the running back here. Let's go Roschon. Do we want Roschon or Algier? We want Roschon, right? I mean, if you're looking at Roschon Johnson versus Tyler Algier probably in the better situation in terms of the offense that he's playing in. But the issue is you could see Roschon Johnson being the starting running back for the Chicago Bears without an injury. It's a possibility that you end up seeing Roschon Johnson overtaking Khalil Herbert, overtaking Deonta Foreman. It's not necessarily guaranteed, but it's in the range of outcomes. Whereas the only way it can happen for Tyler Algier is through an injury. It could happen through an injury for Roschon. It could happen just because he's quote unquote the better guy. We don't really know. So we'll take him here at 152. Okay. Now let's move this down. Shaheed off the board at 157. Okay. Once we take our 5th running back here, we're probably done drafting RBs. If one falls to us at a value that we love, we'll take him. To be honest with you, I don't necessarily think with our build we need to take Mostert. So we're probably not taking a running back here. What wide receivers will be available to us on the way back around? There are a lot of tight. Do we want to go Irv Smith Jr.? We'll go Irv Smith Jr. He falls 11 picks, right? I think you make an argument for MVS in that if we go MVS, we can set ourselves up with the ability to just take like 3 tight ends in a row the following rounds. But we're going to have to take 3 tight ends regardless. Even though MVS does give you the spike week potential playing with Mahomes, at the same time, Irv Smith Jr. in an elite offense, we get him 11 picks past ADP. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's look at Smelly's team here at 1. I'm sorry, my friend. I know we said we were going to do this earlier. But wide receiver, we have Jefferson. Then we go Jacobs, Mahomes out the gate as well. Followed up with DJ Moore, Christian Kirk at the 4-5 turn. Kyle Pitts, DeAndre Swift. Okay, so honestly, this is a draft that I 100% would have done the same thing up until the DeAndre Swift selection. And you probably made the right call, my friend. But because I'm an idiot, what I would have done is I would have pivoted over to the bully tight end strategy, and I would have gone with Kyle Pitts and Dallas Goedert here at 72-73. Here with our next 2 picks, we're getting the correlating pieces in New Orleans, going Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara. I think if we would have gone Goddard instead of Swift, maybe you could have gone James Cook instead of Michael Thomas here. We get Sky Moore to pair up with Patrick Mahomes. We get Khalil Herbert at a decent value. We get Derek Carr for the double stack with Thomas. And I really like this team, my friend. I really like the team. Like I said, I probably would have taken Dallas Goedert over DeAndre Swift, but I probably would have ruined the team. So it is what it is. Probably a good thing. You did not do what I would have done. Okay, so we have Sam Laporta off the board at 163. Obviously, we're still looking for tight end value on the way back around. And Sam Laporta is just someone I'm not going to be drafting at all. I'm sorry. I'd much prefer grabbing like a veteran tight end than Sam Laporta. So I am honestly happy that he does not make it to us at 176 here. Okay, Curtis Samuel goes 171. So those are our two main wide receiver targets that we have in this round. Wan'Dale Robinson and Curtis Samuel. So not great to see them fall. Going back to what we were talking about previously, we do have a setup where if we really wanted to, we could take Kyler Murray. The primary issue being the fact that we need to take 3 tight ends. We'll see. We may go Kyler here. See what makes it to us. Jalen says, I've been drafting too much Goddard and Hurts. Join the club, my friend. Join the club. What is this team doing? Kyler goes 174. This team that had Justin Fields. Taysom off, so we'll go ahead and we'll take Juwan Johnson. We need a tight end. He makes it 13 picks pass behind ADP to get back to us. So, yeah, I mean, not like we're sitting here jumping up and down. To be honest with you, I think you can make an argument that Dawson Knox is a better tight end for this next season. But when we're drafting over 700 of these teams, right, we have to be very wary with ADP. And if Juwan Johnson has an ADP of 163 and Dawson Knox has an ADP of 176, there will be a lot of other drafts where you're able to go ahead and you are able to get Dawson Knox later on, and where you're not able to get Juwan Johnson in the same range. So we'll take him here. We'll just take him here. Okay. So let's move this down. Dawson Knox off. I mean, I definitely would have liked Dawson Knox on the way back around to us at 185. See what L-Dog does. Please give us Conklin. We have Aaron Rodgers. Our two. Okay, yeah, they go Gesicki. Hell yeah. So we're going to get Tyler Conklin. So we'll have Tyler Conklin here as our third tight end with Irv Smith Jr., Juwan Johnson. We'll get the double stack now of Tyler Conklin, Breece Hall, Aaron Rodgers. I really like this team. I like how we've built this team. Let's go ahead and let's show this off. Wide receiver, we have Lamb, Waddle, Pittman, Hollywood, Brandon Cooks, Romeo Doubs. Running back, we have Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, James Conner, Damian Harris, Roschon Johnson. Quarterback, we have Anthony Richardson, Aaron Rodgers. Tight end, we have Irv Smith Jr., Juwan Johnson, Tyler Conklin. If you're looking at our correlating bets, we make a bet here with the Dallas Cowboys passing offense with the combination of CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks. We make a bet that the Arizona Cardinals may be a little bit better than people expect this next season with the combination of Hollywood Brown, James Conner. We make the bet on the Indianapolis Colts with the combination of Michael Pittman, Anthony Richardson. We make the bet on the Aaron Rodgers-led passing offense with the Jets with Breece Hall, Aaron Rodgers, Tyler Conklin. So, yeah, I really like this team. I like this team a lot. And, of course, real quick, if you want to get in our next draft, we are doing this literally every single day until the season starts. Go down there, drop a like on this live stream. Go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code FLOCK. They'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. You'll get my 2023 fantasy football rankings and a free trial to flockfantasy.com. Okay. Now, Hayden Hurst goes 193. Once we go Irv Smith Jr., Juwan Johnson, Tyler Conklin, we're going to stop at 3 tight ends. I think you could make an argument if you were looking at a private draft to go ahead and to take a 4th tight end. Specifically in these large field tournaments, however, not too inclined to go with a 4th tight end there. Okay. So let's move this over. Joshua Palmer, 195. Okay. You've seen the good team, right? What a smart drafter does from here is they go wide receiver, wide receiver. That's what someone with the brain does. However, you are not watching a smart drafter with this live stream. You do not come to see the biggest brain. You do not come to see the best analysis. You come to see some Trey Lance. That's what you come to see. So despite us probably not needing to draft a 3rd quarterback, we are going to go ahead and we are going to take Trey Lance here at pick 200. We need it. We need it. Okay. Arm says, hey, Mason, do you think Anthony Richardson will be like Justin Fields last season? I think it is a possibility. Obviously, far from a guarantee. If it was guaranteed, he'd be drafted as a top 5 quarterback. I think it is in the range of outcomes that Anthony Richardson leads the NFL in rushing yards this next year. Ajayi says, fun fact, I backed out of betting several $100. Okay. For whatever reason, oh my gosh, I was blown away. I thought this read 700,000, like several $100,000. I thought you were about to bet like $200,000 on Trey Lance being MVP. But anyway, I backed out of betting several $100 of Lance for MVP last year. What are the updated MVP odds here? Let's pull this up. I've never made an MVP bet, but maybe this will be the first year. Let's go. NFL MVP betting odds 2023. Okay, so Mahomes, obviously the front runner. Mahomes plus 700. Burrow plus 750. Allen plus 800. You can get Jalen Hurts 12-1. Jalen Hurts 12-1 seems appealing. Herbert 14-1. Lamar 16-1. Lawrence 16-1. Rodgers 16-1. Fields 20-1. That's lighting money on fire. Tua 20-1. Dak 20-1. Watson 30-1. I don't mind Watson 30-1. Goff 35-1. Geno 40-1. Love 50-1. Russ 40-1. Carr 45-1. Lance 50-1. Lance has the same odds as Cousins. Better odds than Stafford. Better odds than Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is 75-1. Lance is 50-1. What does that tell you, ladies and gentlemen? What does that tell you? Nova says, Mason, what are you going to do with all those Trey Lance shares when Brock Purdy starts all year? Question is, what am I going to do with my millions will win on Underdog when Trey Lance starts all year, my friend? That's the correct question. We have to take a wide receiver. We have no other option. Can we kind of find someone who's not being drafted in every one of these? Do we go Corey Davis? Yeah, get another Jet in here? We'll go Davis. Come on, Rodgers. We need you. We need you here, baby. Austin says, I only watch this channel for Lance propaganda. Jeep Guy says, Lance MVP 2023. I will, before the season starts, make a bunch of shirts and we'll throw them on flockfantasy.com. We've already shipped out and gave away hundreds of shirts, but we will make more shirts, and this time we'll actually sell them on flockfantasy.com. That way it can be a sustainable thing. We just can't go ahead and keep on giving away hundreds of shirts for free. But anyway, let's show this off. So we were pick 8. I think it was a very strong draft. A smart person wanted to have taken Trey Lance, but here we are. We were trying to sell some t-shirts. We're trying to sell some Lance for MVP shirts. Looks like, sadly, we did not hit 350 likes on this live stream, so we'll most likely cut the stream here. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, you know I'm the only person doing this every single day until NFL kickoff. We will probably end up streaming like 500 drafts on the live stream. Nah, that's way more of an exaggeration. Probably end up closer to like 200 to 300 drafts on the stream. Yeah, 500, no. But anyway, if you want to get in our next draft, if you want to go check out any of the player props they have right now on Underdog, go sign up. Link in the live chat, link in the description, promo code FLOCK. They'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar, $200. You'll get my 2023 fantasy football rankings. You will get a free trial to flockfantasy.com. Underdog's available pretty much everywhere. You can see the map here. If your state's in yellow, you have Underdog. Also available everywhere in Canada outside of Ontario. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Really do appreciate you. Really hope you have a great Sunday and really hope that we get to see you with the live stream tomorrow.